Hi, Kira Lou. Especially for you, I'm going to read you the story because I used to read this all the time and I haven't seen you for ages to read it to you, and I know you like it. So here we go. Amos, the story of an old dog and his couch. Amos is an old dog who lives on an old couch in an old house. He's asleep on the chair, isn't he? He likes sleeping there. That used to be filled with activity. Let's have a look at the pictures on the table. There's the boy playing with the ball with Amos, and there's Mummy and Mr. and Mrs. Bobson and the two children and the dog. And there's the little boy, he's giving him a big hug, isn't he? And the boy there rowing the boat, and Amos looks so happy sat at the front there, doesn't he? And then look, he's on the last one there, he's sat there wagging his tail because he's caught the ball. Once the kids were all grown up and had moved away, things were kind of quiet. There's Amos on the couch again, fast asleep. Mrs. Bobson's reading a book. What book do you think she's reading, Kira? Yeah, that's right. It's Amos, isn't it? Oh, it's always Amos she reads. And Mr. Bobson's reading a newspaper. I wonder what's in the news today. What do you think, Kira? What, an accident on the A45 again? There's a lot of accidents on that road, isn't there? Mr. and Mrs. Bobson went out a lot. So they're putting their coats on. But they never took Amos with them anymore. He looks really miserable, don't he? All sad. Where do they go? Amos wondered. If only I could go along, he thought. He was looking out the window and they're going out. One day, after the Bobsons had gone out, Amos was awakened by a loud, persistent buzz. What is it, Kira? That's right. It's a fly. And he hadn't caught a fly in years, but he decided to give it a try. Snap, 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 snap. He tried and he tried. Finally, he went after it with his paw. Slam. He missed the fly, but had hit something else, for suddenly... The couch moved. Amos hit the cushion again. The couch seemed to come alive. He tried it again. And again. Whoop, crash. Whoop, he's knocked the table over all the pictures. Uh-oh, Mr. and Mrs. Bobson weren't very happy, were they? Finally, he backed the couch up very slowly and guided it back into place. Amos could not remember when he'd been so tired or so happy. He's got a big grin on his face there. He's fell asleep again, hasn't he? The next morning, Amos could hardly wait for the Bobsons to leave. Give a big kiss on the chips. Now, as soon as they were gone, he started up his couch and threw it into gear. He shot out the door just in time to spot the Bobsons pulling out the driveway. That's them in their green car, isn't it? Mr. and Mrs. Bobson, you can see through the window. So he followed them. Right out into traffic. Uh-oh. That man's going, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? These man's hats fell off. He's so excited. And they're all looking out the windows and looking back. And all these people on the street. And the police, but what? A dog on a couch? What's going on? He managed to stay with them all the way to the supermarket. See, it says supermarket at the top there. See it? Supermarket. And they've pulled in their green car just there. And Amos has pulled in the space a couple of spaces along, hasn't he? Probably going to buy me some... Yeah, that's right, chicken, he thought, and waited patiently for their return. He didn't mind waiting. He had plenty of company. See, all the other cars have got dogs in it. There's one with a pointy nose, one with big ears, one with sticky up ears. This one's got curly hair. There's two dogs in that car. That one's got long ears. They're all looking and barking, I should think. Pretty soon the Bobsons were back. Can you see Amos just peering over the couch there? Look, just over there, look over the car. They're putting stuff in their boot. They're shopping, aren't they? Amos started up his couch and followed the Bobsons out of the parking lot. Here they go. Off they go. And Amos is following them. Next, they stopped at a yard sale. Amos had to think fast. Thought he's hiding just there, like behind the settee. So, that looks just like our couch, said Mr. Bobson. Oh, it couldn't be, said Mrs. Bobson. Our couch is home with Amos on it. Amos decided he had taken enough chances for one day, and when the Bobsons drove off on their next errand, he headed straight for home. When the Bobsons got back, they found Amos stretched out on his couch as usual, looking a bit more tired than usual. That night, they all had chicken, just as Amos knew they would. You're right, it was chicken. The next morning, Amos wasted no time, and as soon as he heard the Bobsons start their motor, he started his. And he was on his way. He shot out the door that time, didn't he? He followed them downtown. Oops, he's caused an accident there. He's gone. Well, these cars have crashed, I think. Oh, that one's run into the wall. Uh-oh. They're all a bit surprised to be a dog on a couch, aren't they? And there's Mr. and Mrs. Bobson's car coming. So he's following very quickly, isn't he? Over the bridge. Uh-oh, that man's jumped up in the air when that car's nearly crashed. He's fell over the wall. This one's jumped over. He's going to land in the water. They're all a bit surprised, aren't they? Through the zoo, even the animals are surprised at them. The giraffe saying, oh, I wish I could do that. I could go over on a car and a bear and the antelope. Oh, there's all sorts of animals there, aren't there? Past the playground, all the children are looking. They've got to be careful. They might fall off the front. And this little boy's forgot to stop on the slide because he's looking over at Amos. Amos began to grow tired and hungry, so he headed for home. He's off back now. On the way, he stopped to make a few new friends. There's a grocery store and the bake shop and the tailor shop. He said hello to all those people. Then he got to the pet shop. Who can you see in the pet shop? There's a rabbit and a monkey and a parrot and a dog and another. He looks so excited, doesn't he, Kira? He stopped again at the hot dog stand. That little girl's giving him a hot dog. That's nice of her, isn't it? She's like you. Must be a really nice little girl. That little boy's dropped his hot dog. The man's dropped his. That man's dropped his. That lady's dropped. Everybody's dropping their hot dogs. They're so surprised. To make a few more friends, he stopped at this place that this man's giving him a meatball. I think he looks nice and tasty. Yum yum yum. Al's Pizza and a few more friends. So he's stopping all these people. That man's spinning the pizza above his head, the pizza dough to make the pizza. But he's got so surprised at seeing Amos, it fell on his head. He didn't catch it. Oops. They're all waving at Amos, aren't they? Suddenly, Amos realised it was getting late. I'd better hurry, he thought. But what Amos hadn't thought about, and what dog does think about such things, let's think about that, was rush hour traffic. That was bumper to, that's right, couch to bumper. He would never get home before the Bobsons unless they were stuck in traffic too. But they weren't, were they, Kira? No. But they weren't. Where on earth could he be? Amos? Amos! He hadn't touched his food. His toys are where they'd always been, under his couch. But where was the couch? The Bobsons began to fear they might never see Amos again. But rush hour doesn't last forever. Amos! Amos needn't have worried. The Bobsons was just happy to see him. So that's your secret, they said. From then on, Amos was the happiest dog in the world because the Bobsons took him everywhere they went. And every once in a while, Amos took them someplace too. Oh, they look terrified on there, going too fast, isn't he? Slow down, Amos, slow down, I'll fall off this couch. And that's the end. And normally you say to me, and the other book, Grandad, but I'm not going to do that today because I'm going to save it for another day so that we've got 2 stories to read, all right? But I will tell you one thing. We're missing you loads. We want lots of huggles when we see you and we're allowed to. And just to be sure, that's a picture you probably recognise, because that's I love you all the way to Orion's belt, the 3 stars in the middle there. Love you lots, Kira. Bye-bye, darling.